This is the mirror drawing experiment. So for this one you need something to draw. Now I'm actually going to suggest to you some things to try for initially. You need a mirror. Now I've got one of these plastic mirrors that's a mirror on both sides, actually a double-sided mirror, but I'm sure you can find other mirrors if you haven't got one like this, but something you can hold easily in your hand, that's what you do need, okay? You need, for this one, a couple of pencils or pens. Ideally, different colours are good and you'll see why, but once you see what I'm going to do, you may choose to do it slightly different way anyway, but this is the way I'm going to do it, okay? What I want you to do first is draw a square, a circle and a triangle, okay? Now you could actually start the whole thing with a piece of blank paper and just draw the square, the circle and the triangle as you saw. I've actually started off with them already drawn on the paper. Now you're going to see why I'm doing it this way, okay? Because the first thing I want to do is see how good I am at tracing the outline just straight onto it, copying it basically, okay? And see how easy and how quickly I do it. And I want you to monitor that. And when you copy me and you do your version, if you haven't got a printed out version like this, then just draw them first carefully, possibly with rulers and compasses and things like this, and then do the next bit and just trace over them, okay? So I'm going to get down, lean on my elbow, partly because I want to stop it moving, there. And I want to see how good I am at tracing round, okay? So tracing round the square. Okay. Bit wiggly line, but not too bad. Remember, you're going to be doing this in a minute. Circle. I expect some of you to be much better than this. Triangle. Okay, could be worse. So that was first version without using anything, just looking straight down, tracing the outlines with a colour pencil. Okay, I want you to do the same thing. Then what I want you to do, once you've done that, is pick another colour, then get a mirror. Now this is what I want you to do. Quite fiddly. I'm going to get back down into a similar position. I'm going to be holding the mirror against my head like the peak on a cap, okay, like the peak on a peaked cap. And I'm going to be looking up into the mirror this time as I draw. I'm not going to be looking down like I did before. I'm going to be looking up. So I need to angle the mirror so until I can see the reflection in the mirror of the piece of paper in front of me there. Now when I do that, that is where I can see quite clearly the pictures in front of me, the square, the triangle, the circle. Of course you can't see me over there, but I'm only looking up anyway, and I can look up and I can see the shapes. And what I want to do is see how good I am at tracing them this time, and see how good you are at tracing them this time, just by looking in the mirror. Remember, you're not allowed to look down at any time. So you look up in the mirror and trace around again and see how good you are this time. Good luck. Okay, I wonder how you got on. I'll show you how I get on with this one, okay? So here we go, look in the mirror, and remember I'm only looking down initially to see where I'm going to start. I'm going to start there, I think. Okay, up into the mirror, I'm looking up now. Okay, not too bad. Oops, oops, I cheated, sorry, I looked down. I'll look up again, look up. Oops. Well, apart from a bit of a bad one there, that wasn't so bad. Circle. Okay, where's the circle? I'm going to look up in the mirror totally now, no cheating. I'll start there. Right, here we go. What's happening now? I totally lost it. Oh, there we go. Not quite sure what happened on that one. Okay, onto the triangle. Where should we start here? I'll start there. Remember, I'm not looking down now, no cheating. Okay, here we go. Ooh, Not a mirror at all. Oh my goodness me. Not too sure about that. I wonder how you got on. So what was going on? Am I really this rubbish at copying things? Well, obviously I must be when I'm using a mirror. Now, notice when I drew around the square, apart from that one, and I think to be honest that was more because I slipped a bit with a pen rather than looking in the mirror, it wasn't too bad. I managed to trace round not too bad most of it, and I'm sure you probably did too, so you probably didn't make that sort of mistake. Remember, that was because I think I just sort of slipped with a pen. But certainly 3 of the lines weren't too bad at all, quite close. The circle, well, not so good that one, was it? Starting to move around here like this, and then all the way around. And the triangle, goodness knows what's going on there, but I will tell you what, as far as we know, was going on. When you look at something and you try to draw, like I was without the mirror, there are 2 lots of things going on in your brain. Part of your brain, of course, is paying attention to what you can see. You can see where you need to draw. So when I wanted to draw, for example, a line down there, my brain said, okay, bring your arm down, draw down that way. Okay, easy. Now, one other thing your brain was doing was monitoring the position of my hand and my arm, so it could see if it was doing what it's meant to do, if you like. And of course, you can feel the way your hand moves, you can feel it. Now, that's because your body has another sense called a kinesthetic sense, which allows your brain to understand and figure out where every part of your body is. So, for example, if you do this and touch your nose, it doesn't matter where you put your finger to start with, it's pretty easy to do that, because your brain has a complete map of your body and where everything is, and it gets that map and builds it up from information it's receiving from senses embedded all over your body, in your muscles, in the joints, and in the things that link your muscles to your bones, called tendons, the little sensors. And they're called proprioceptors, and those little sensors can figure out position for your brain, or they send information that your brain uses to figure out position. So when I was doing that, my brain was figuring out the position of my hand, so it knew it was moving in the right direction. Problem with the mirror is that when I was looking in the mirror, directions that way, in other words, compared to me vertically, away from or towards, in the mirror go the opposite way. So in other words, if I want to pull my hand towards me, I can feel it coming towards me when I do it, but I see it going in the opposite direction in the mirror. So straight away my brain's getting confused, thinking, what's going on here? What's even more confusing, my brain can't even learn very quickly, because when I go that way, it does look okay in the mirror. So when you go left to right in the mirror, held that way, it looks okay. Vertically, it looks the other way around. So my brain was finding it hard even to keep up. The square wasn't so bad, because once I got moving, I could just keep moving in the same direction in a straight line, and that's why it wasn't too bad, either vertically or horizontally. And as you saw, apart from that wiggly one there, I did go reasonably well. Problem with a circle, think about it, it's constantly changing direction, constantly changing. So my brain had to keep moving and moving and moving and changing direction of the push or the pull on the pen. And again, my brain was having trouble with this, because sometimes it seemed to be going round right and sometimes it didn't. And it was confusing my brain, and that's why that line went all wiggly and weird. Triangle, actually even worse sometimes, because a diagonal line is actually constantly changing direction as well. One split second it's going one way, one the other. So it's going across there, so it's going actually in 2 directions at the same time. If you think about it, it's going horizontally and vertically at the same time. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to drag it that way. And that obviously confused my brain a lot. And remember, I've done this quite a few times. I suspect some of you had yours looking even more wiggly, though some of you probably would have done it better than me, but I bet hardly any of you got it exactly the same as you did without the mirror. So that's why it went a bit weird. So here's a few variables you might consider. I've just shown you these shapes. Of course, you could stick with simple shapes like this, the square, the triangle and the circle, change the size. I wonder if that would make a difference. So draw a great big square or a tiny square, and the same for the other 2. But it's pretty obvious now, I'm sure you're thinking, why don't we try different shapes entirely? So draw a selection of different shapes. What about something more complicated? Because these are fairly simple shapes. What about drawing a more complicated picture? Again, just first looking at it and then using your mirror and try to trace it. See how you get on with that. What about using the mirror at different angles? That's an interesting one. I mean, I held it like that and looked in the mirror as I was doing it. What about if you held it to the side and looked in the side of the mirror and did it that way. So you look in the mirror as you're drawing and see if you can do it. That's the way some people like to do it as well. I wonder what differences that would make, even for the same one. So even do the same as you did already, but this time alter the position of the mirror itself. Maybe you look at the reflection that way or that way. And I'm sure you can think of some other things.